What's the situation?
The police are reporting that armed terrorists have attacked the Israeli athletes.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village.
Whose story is that? Is it ours or is it theirs?
Next movie is September 5th. Mark, let me get some thoughts out here. The synopsis here. The film follows the ABC broadcast crew. You know, it's what a wholesome thing to do during while terrorism strikes the 1970s.
Hey, that's what the fucking Germans want you to fucking. They want you to still think it's all butterfly and rainbow.
So hunky dory over there. Yeah. Director was Tim Feinbaum. This was his most significant work in a matter of years. The cast includes John Magaro as Jeffrey Mason, Peter Sarsgaard as Rune Aldridge, Ben Chaplin as Marvin Bader, Lonnie Bennett as Maureen Gebhardt, and Benjamin Walker as the legendary broadcaster Peter Jennings. Wide release was mid-January, Mark. A lot of things to love about this movie. Absolutely. I think interesting placement, interesting thing to focus on.
Well, like interesting perspective to focus on, because I didn't look at the actual event until after the movie, but the actual event is just fucking horrible.
Yes.
The way everything went down is it really makes Germany look really bad.
Well, yes. I mean, and you also, I don't know what was normal and what wasn't during Olympic Games at the times. Obviously now you get extreme security. There's no way you're getting in. Anyone's getting in at all. But this vantage point of a sports broadcast team, sports coverage essentially doing this, and trying their best to find vantage points and report on this and take it as seriously as they can. You're watching as things start to unfurl. I think what's interesting is, this is the situation's tough, but this also is, I think, an amazing film that shows, the main character is in his element. And when he's in his element, it's some of the best moments of the movie. And these are not great moments when that is the case, but sometimes it is, just sports. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's the terrorism portions. But I think we get toward the early portions of the movie, the main character is given the directive to, literally direct. And when he's got everything going, it's like an orchestra. And it looks so... As someone that likes to... you like the video. You want everything to sync up.
I like period pieces.
I'm talking the video production part, where it's when he's ready to, and two's getting ready, and you're seeing everything behind the scenes, and it's all right, we want graphic in. It's all of that. I was this sucks. This stuff sucks. This is a terrible moment, but I am glued to the screen at how amazingly interesting this all is.
This movie wasn't based off a true story, but I like that aspect of Late Night with the Devil. Of when you get to the behind the scenes part and how they're starting up everything, how they're starting and stopping production of that show every time.
Yes, absolutely. But I thought
I was actually learning something from this movie, how they put in logos and text back then. It was all that shit was physical back then. I assumed they had some kind of computer editing where just
no,
they just paste the logo. It's and they just type in the text, but no, that was a physical logo.
And the way that they had to obviously find, they had to record the content, capture it. They had to retrace everything. They'll go through everything, find footage that they think would be, because of course you can't do the stop recording, go recording. You're just recording. All of that was great. And then again, placing it all once they got back to the production room, and it's all right, now we want to line everything up, and it's prepare 2, prepare 3, have this footage lined up so that we can do that, do a fade in and all that, and it's it felt so orchestral in that moment. It was great, and I love that as much as I hate the situation that obviously is happening right next to them, because you're watching this as things are progressively going further and further downwards. Everything's spiraling, and I think it's interesting because you're seeing a point in time where TV is still, it's 1972, so there have been major events that have been covered on TV, but it's still early enough that most of the early stuff, as we saw, was on radio broadcasts, right? where they were getting their news in the beginning was like from other places, local broadcasts, or from radio.
I think your word for I do not know much about that time period.
Right,
in terms of entertainment media.
But I'm saying now, I'm going back to the movie though. Like when we're in the movie, like when it's all starting and they don't know what's happening, like they're getting most of their news stuff from local reporting or radio, and it's like and the way that they're broadcasting in the beginning is they don't have footage, so they're having Peter Jennings talk on a phone like it's radio still. So you still have this lost in translation part of we're not at full TV yet. Of we can have everything brought like not everything's lined up yet. Where we have live footage simultaneous to this footage, and like we have currently, we're seeing the beginnings of it. And that's also.
I love the part where like they look at the terrorists looking over the window, like that's our opener.
Yeah, exactly. Right, like because you know how much work goes into this, or you can now see how much work is going into it.
Like even communications between like people is rough because back then like everyone like nowadays we're probably all just using smartphones, but like people were just using different communication devices. Like somebody's on a walkie-talkie, somebody's on a phone. You have to have the person communicate over the radio or walkie-talkie to the phone, and like they have to have them both together.
It's incredible.
And hope they can hear each other clearly enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, and they have to have the walkie-talkie over the radio so that, like, one of them can translate it.
And then I don't know if you probably remember, but at a certain point, it's like because they're in Germany, they have to use a satellite to broadcast back to America.
Yes.
And the way that all the satellites being used because it's new, it's all new tech. So it's like CBS wants it. It's like what? No, we need the and then so it's like everything's being. It's like oh my god, this stuff is so archaic. It's so early. And
like CBS. Put our logo on the top right corner then.
Right, like we're just gonna override basically, and we're just gonna make this work anyway. I love so much the technical side of this is I think it's magical, and like you said earlier, it's a vantage point that you just don't get, but also this place and time is perfect for it because there's so much work that goes into it, so much more work than if this was 2025 and you were trying to capture news like. You're getting news a lot faster. Like if you were to make a movie about something in 2025, you're not getting that tension as much because the news is just coming in from whatever source.
They're just gonna be talking like social media feeds for what the people are talking about.
Exactly,
like what the German social media feeds and stuff.
Yeah, but then like
send drones out there,
and that relays back to the real world situation that was happening outside of it. It was interesting to see that we were like it's like okay, you get that German Olympic perspective of let's just keep the games going. Let's try to just let things out. It's like that is insane. Like, and they didn't tell the other countries that were, by the way, in the actual Olympic like apartments there. All that Olympic everyone came back and they were mad because it's like how we can't get in. We just did Olympic performances and we can't go back in because you didn't tell us that there was a hostage situation. Insane. But they didn't really tell them everything correctly. That's insane. You get obviously to the point of the airport, and the lies of that, where that's probably that's the biggest part of it. Where just it's interesting because the way that news works now is everything is just well I heard this, oh ignore it, and like they would just say it anyway. Like
yes, and
here you get a real moment of. We are new. This
like
is
everyone's
news.
safe. Everyone's good. All the hostages are like there was no casualties, and then a couple minutes later.
But even before that, before they fired the official shot of saying it, the guy's like, "Are you sure? We need sources. We need
yes."
Like that moment was like so critical because it's like
I was in terms of like just the broadcast and the broadcast, what showed up on the broadcast. But yeah, in between that there was that tension.
There was that tension before of like this is news. Are you sure you want to do this? Because in present day, it's like they just put that shit out there because they're desperate. Like there's like fuck it, we heard something, but like it was impressive that like they even put that in there. And then like you said, the bigger one was everyone's happy. Everything it seems like things are going good. They were listening to the German government. The German police guy or government guy comes in to their broadcast. On their broadcast says like some weird fucking shit like we think it's good. We think it like if it's like a lot of ifs, lot of we thinks, and it's like, what the fuck?
I know after that matter, but after the events take place in the movie, they put an operation in place where, because like the terrorists got away, and they put an operation in place to like just to find the terrorists or anybody that has to do with that terrorist attack, and or anybody that seemingly has anything to do with terrorist attack, and like innocent people kind of got killed because of that operation. Because like there was like I think there was like more than one person I know there was like one specific guy they like targeted and they killed, but they found out later he had nothing to do with anything.
Jesus. Yeah. A lot of
really
death.
bad. Again,
Well,
it's a story that makes Germany look really bad.
There's a lot of death out of that, and again, like this is like it's an unfortunate point in time. It's a learning lesson, and again, I think you can have both things at the same time. You can have this incredible technical presentation of how things were at the time. Like that's where the period piece is, the technical production side of it. And then you get the terrorist, this terrorist situation that brings even more angst, because once they realize that they are broadcasting to the terrorists where the police are, like across from them, and that they are putting police in danger as well. Even if the police were foolish, they didn't know what they were doing. It's like you're making everything more vulnerable. That's a tricky thing to do, and like it puts a lot of moral questions on the table.
Oh yeah, like my favorite part of the movie is when because this happened in a real like story too, but like the police are trying to do like a secret operation that we're trying to sneak in, and then like the news team was broadcasting it.
Yeah.
And then the terrorists found out because they were just watching TV.
Yeah.
And then they just burst into the newsroom like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yep. And it's like, hey, can you see this? Or can they see this? Like, oh.
Yeah, is that TV in there?
It's like,
and then the government police just like bust in the newsroom.
Yeah.
And they just start turning everything off themselves, even though I don't know if they were allowed to do that.
But it's like, but it was for the safety of, it's like, you could see from both sides of it. Yeah. Obviously, one of them was in the significant wrong, but it shows, again, the positives and negatives of how you report, when you report, how, like, all those things. But September 5th, thought it was like, great, and, I was on the edge of my seat the whole night, the edge of my seat, but yeah, just because it's like, you're watching to see what's around the corner, what's about to happen, what's happening on the technical side. Will they still have the feed to America? Will that get cut? How are yeah.
The story was also valuable to me because I didn't look up anything ahead of time, and now that I did, it's a little bit more valuable to me because now I know the events that are going down if I ever rewatch it again. And it's like, okay, this is when this happens. This is when this happens.
Yeah.
This is what leads into this about later down the line.
These are the keys that are put in place to get to that point. Absolutely. September 5th, guys. Good movie.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Limited release, though. Limited, was it limited?
It was limited early. It went wider in mid-January. It was in every theater for over the past week and a couple weeks. Certainly.
I was surprised I got to see this at MAC in Washington D.C.
Yeah, because you still had the early limited release, and then it was in a lot of places.
Mine came out with a Q&A at the end of the movie, which was a nice little addition. But because what was funny was I knew there was Q&A when I went in, but I forgot about it after I finished watching the movie.
Yeah. And
I was going to leave the theater room, but I still saw a bunch of people behind me just still in their seats, even as the end credits are going. And it's like.
There must be something worth waiting for.
Do these people know this is not that type of movie that has something at the end credits?
Mark's over here.
And it's
this isn't the MCU. What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's they're still just there waiting for something. So I was just my bus isn't coming for another fucking 30 minutes. So I got time. I'm just gonna sit there with them. It's warm in here anyway. And it's oh, the Q&A. I forgot about the Q&A. And it seemed like a nice Q&A. I don't remember much from it, and I think I fell asleep on some of it. So I was yeah. Hey, I was still in a nice warm seat because it was fucking cold outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, Q&As are always great. Coraline, that was cool. They had a little moment there. That was in Q&A, but with Look Back, they had a great Q&A discussion with the director and the voice actors.
Wish I saw that. There was a nice. There was what would have been a nice Q&A for when I saw it then in the theaters, but like that was before the movie.
Smart move.
Not appreciated before the movie. Please put it after the movie.
Yeah, Transformers 1 did that as well. Revealed everything. That was great. Yeah, September 5th.